California's Gold is produced in association with KCET Los Angeles and is seen statewide on California Public Television. This series is endorsed by the California Teachers Association, the California School Boards Association, and the California Library Association.
Well, hello everybody, I'm Huell Howser, and here we are on this absolutely beautiful morning in front of one of the most historic and downright iconic places anywhere in our state. Of course, I'm talking about our magnificent state capitol building here in Sacramento. You know, when I first moved to California a little over 25 years ago, this building is one of the first places I wanted to visit. And even today, when I'm in Sacramento, I love to come here and just stand and look up at the building. This makes you so proud to be a Californian. But this adventure is not about our state capitol building. This adventure is going to take us to two places that I've always wanted to visit, but never had the time to get to. Now, both of these places are colorful, they're historic, they're interesting, and they're a little bit quirky too. And if you're interested in where we're going to go and what we're going to see, well, you're invited to come along with us. I call this episode Two Places I've Always Wanted to Visit in California, but never had the time to get to until now. And both of these places are fine examples of California's gold.
Well, there we were, barreling down, actually barreling up, good old Highway 395, right beside our beautiful Sierra Mountains. Now, this is one of my favorite parts of California, and we were heading to the nice little community of Lee Vining, which is where Mono Lake is located. But we weren't in Lee Vining to visit Mono Lake. We were there to visit a place I'd always heard about and was finally getting to see for myself.
Okay, our adventure begins, and it doesn't get any prettier than this. There's Mono Lake off in the background. We got an ore cart right here, an old tractor right here, but here's what I've been wanting to see for a long time. I've been reading about this place forever. Let's meet our host right here. Your name, sir?
My name is Don Banta.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Wanda Canton.
Nice to meet you. And who's this guy on the porch back here? What's his name?
That guy is Norm DeChambeau, and he's a fixture around here.
He just stands there on the front porch all the time, right?
No, he's into every single thing there is.
All right. Now, this museum, this is technically called the...
That's the old schoolhouse museum. This was a schoolhouse, active and used a lot right down by Mono Lake. But they were going to put it away. They were going to burn it up or tear it down. But we wanted it, so we brought it up here.
You moved it up here. It's full of all kind of artifacts. And as beautiful as this old historic schoolhouse is, with the flag flying and the sun shining and the blue skies, you know why we're here and what we're here to see. I've been reading about this forever, and there it is. I have a feeling that's it.
That's the upside down house.
The upside down house. Come on over here and take a look at this, because you don't see many houses that are upside down.
It was built by Nellie Bly O'Bryan, who was a movie star in the 20s with Charlie Chaplin. Earned money there. Quite a remarkable woman. And she came up here and decided these were her mountains.
She fell in love with the Sierra and with Mono Lake.
Right. And so she built this as a tourist attraction for Mono County.
What do you mean built this as a tourist attraction?
She built it. She hauled wood down from the canyons.
But why did she build it upside down?
Well, as a child, you want this whole story?
Well, not the whole story, but part of the story.
As a child, she wore dresses that were really starched, and her mother used faultless starch. in the faultless starch boxes, there were stories, and one of the stories was the land of upside down, which she fell in love with.
So when she had the chance to build a house,
right,
and use it as a tourist attraction, what, people would come from all around to see it.
She built it upside down.
All of her life. She was a famous lady. She was the first licensed guide for the state of California.
Up here.
In the mountains, in the Sierras. But she liked the mountains so good, even though she was getting a well-paid, high-paid job working for a major film company.
She made a lot of movies with Charlie Chaplin, didn't she?
Charlie Chaplin.
Really?
Almost 50.
But she gave all of that up to come up here to God's country.
Right.
And build an upside-down house.
No, not that. She wanted to live up here in this country. And Wanda, you correct me if I say something wrong. While she was back on a backcountry hunting trip, fishing trip, she was a licensed guide. When she was on the trip in the backcountry, she noticed this old house that had fallen down off of a cliff or something. It was almost intact, upside down, and she was inspired to go and build an upside down house.
She saw an old miner's cabin probably that had fallen down up in the Sierra, was upside down, and that's what got her juices flowing, thinking, oh, that old starch story that she read
that
about.
Old starch one.
Well, let's go over and get up close.
Just a second. One more thing. Before she built the upside down house, she ran a business in Lundy when it was going pretty good, and her business was into selling fishing tackle and guiding people and a number of different things. But when she got ready to retire, that's when she decided to build the upside down house, and she'd build it by herself, every nail and every hammer.
All right, now can we go over?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go over. Let's take a look. I've been waiting for years. I've been reading about this. This house is legendary.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
Oh, yes, it's wonderful.
Come on, let's go over here and take a look. We're getting ready to go inside the upside. Well, I mean, the door is still there. Are we going to go in it upside down? How does it?
You can go right side up.
Okay. We're coming inside the upside down house. Come on down here, Wanda. And you're right.
Yes.
It's upside down.
Even the mouse.
There's an upside down mouse over here. There's an upside down bed. The chamber pot's upside down. The boots are upside down. The stove is upside down. The pots and pans are upside down. The wash basin is upside down. The mirror is upside down. We're the only things in here not upside down.
I'm close.
The cat's upside down. Come on in here, fellas, because this is too good to pass up. This really must capture everybody's imagination when they come in here.
Yes, indeed.
Any stories about this you want to share with us?
The greatest story I have is when kids come to visit the museum and they come out here, I say, what did you see hanging upside down? And they'll come back and tell me, there's a mouse, a cat looking at a mouse. And it takes them a little while to find the mouse,
well, see,
but that's their
that
favorite.
out right away. You should have waited and built up the suspense.
Sorry.
This would have been better television that way. But it's got to really catch everybody's imagination.
Well, I hope so, and I like what little part we have of explaining about the upside down house to people.
Now, was it furnished this way when she was here to furnish it?
Well, she furnished it, and it was up along the highway, and then it was pretty well gutted. And so when the family that had the land donated the house to the museum, the Ferson family, and we moved it down here, and then we sent out the word, we need this, we need that, we need a cat, we need a mouse.
Look, even the calendars are upside down. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But you know what? It's a simple idea.
But it's that old upside down town that she read about as a kid, and she just remembered it. It was special to her.
Okay, we're ending up outside the upside down house, and I just noticed as I was coming down the steps, the clampers sign that they have on the outside of the house, it's upside down too.
They did that on purpose. They came in and asked me if they could put it upside down. I says, yeah, you can, but it's great to see some people come here. I had a lady come here with a little girl, and they started reading the sign, and she couldn't read it, so she picked the girl upside down and
turned her upside
down and let her read the sign. And I wish I would have had a picture of that. That's one of the greatest memories I have of.
Well, you know, this has been so much fun. This story, as with so many of our stories, has many more layers to it than I thought it was going to have, because we originally were just going to come here to do a story on this funny little house that was upside down, but instead we have learned so much about this pioneer, this California pioneer woman. Her name again was?
Nellie Bly O'Bryan.
Nellie Bly O'Bryan. This woman who started her life as an actress and then spent the rest of her life here in the Eastern Sierra, pioneering in many, many different ways.
She said these were her mountains, but I'm so glad she'd share them with me.
Absolutely. And thank you all for sharing the upside down house, not only with me, but with people who come through Lee Vining. Yes. Come on by the museum. They'll give you a personal tour. It's all about, when you're up here at Mono Lake, it's all about being upside down. Right?
Right.
That's very true.
Okay, there it is. I finally got to see the upside down house, which, believe me, is well worth a visit. And of course, my 3 tour guides were great. But it was time to wave goodbye. We had to leave Lee Vining because we still had another stop on our adventure in search of places I'd always wanted to visit but never had the time to get to. And that took us to the nice little community of Livermore, located about 30 miles southeast of Oakland. Now, we went to Livermore in search of, now get ready for this, a light bulb that has been continuously burning for over 100 years. That's right, a 100-year-old plus light bulb. Believe it or not. Now, I'd heard the light bulb was located inside the Livermore Fire Station. So we went to downtown Livermore in search of the old fire station. And lo and behold, we discovered it was no longer there. These days, the old fire station is a bookstore and a restaurant. Where was the light bulb?
Okay, the adventure continues. This is why I love my job so much. We came to downtown Livermore looking for the 100-year-old light bulb. And we thought it would be located in the historic downtown area. We met a nice lady out front with her little dog who told us that this is where the light bulb used to be in the old fire station, but that it had moved to the new fire station out of town. We walked down here to shoot this, to show what the old fire station looked like, and realized that this was not only a bookstore, but a place where we could have lunch. The name of the place is?
The Firehouse Bistro.
The Firehouse Bistro. You all are the owners of the Firehouse Bistro. We walked in and met you right away, and the first question I asked you was, do you have many people like us coming in looking for the light bulb?
Absolutely. I get asked that question probably at least a couple times a week.
You're kidding.
No, yeah, I really do. And at first, I didn't know if it really was a true light bulb, but I'd found it in a trivia book, and come to find out, yes, it was here until 1976 when the main fire station moved from here over to the East Avenue Fire Station. They were very careful. There's a whole saga, I'm sure they can tell you about.
We're going to eventually get to it.
Yeah, there's a whole saga involved in moving it. So yeah, a lot of people do know about it and are interested in it.
But this is where the light bulb used to be.
Yep,
this
right
is the old fire station.
Yep, right there. Those are the roll-up doors that the engines come through.
Right here are the roll-up doors.
Yeah, that the fire engines, they used to be parked right here in the front.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is a great little place, and it really is a bookstore, too. You got books all over the place. You're part of history. Thank you for allowing us to come in and photograph all of this. Thank you for, well, we're in a long line of people asking questions,
yes,
right?
Yes, I expect, to have it happen for a long time still.
And in celebration of this whole adventure, look what we're having. A big bowl of firehouse chili. It's all very appropriate. We're going to eat a nice lunch, and then we're going to leave the old firehouse and find our way to the new firehouse, and hopefully the light bulb is still burning by the time we get there. If it doesn't, we'll be back for dinner.
Okay.
Okay, we finished our firehouse chili. We've gone a couple of miles from downtown. We're now at station number 6, which is the correct station. We had gone to the original, was that station number 1?
Station number 1. There was the original station, 2365 First Street, downtown Livermore.
Your name, sir, is?
My name is Lynn Owens.
Now, are you still a firefighter? Or?
No, I've been retired for 10 years. I was a division chief officer here, and I've been retired for around 10 years.
But you know about the light bulb?
Well, I was the department historian for many years.
Okay, and your name, sir?
My name is Pierre Rodriguez. I'm the current engineer here at this station.
Here at the station. So you know about the light bulb?
Absolutely.
Do lots of people come by here like we're doing today wanting to see the light bulb?
All the time. We get people from all over the world, Japan, China. Just recently we had some people come back from Finland to take a look at our light bulb.
So they do just like I do. I've been reading about this light bulb for years in Sunset Magazine and major newspapers. It's been on television. This is probably the most well, it's the one of a kind.
It's the most famous light bulb in the world.
The most famous light bulb in the world.
Has been burning since 1901. It has been moved 3 times. It was moved to this station in March of 1976.
But wait a minute, how do you keep it burning the whole time if you're moving it?
Well, they gave us a little bit of grace period when we moved it from Station 1 downtown, 2365 First Street, the old Station 1, out to here. We did it in about 10 minutes, and it was done code 3. The city electrician had everything set up
to get it from one station to the other right away.
So,
code 3.
Code 3. So all he had to do was to hook it up and turn it on. And he hooked it up and turned it on, and it didn't work. Then he went back up the ladder to the bulb, tapped the switch, it came on, and it's been burning here since March of 1976.
Because, fellas, I got to tell you, before we go inside to see this light bulb, I've been scared to death that it's going to burn out before we get here. Or that you're going to call me last night and say, Huell, don't worry about coming. It burned out on us.
You know, it's an amazing light bulb. It just keeps burning.
Do you think it keeps burning because it's been on all the time, and, you know, cutting bulbs on and off is what breaks them down, isn't it?
Well, you know, we've had scientists from the lab try to figure it out. We've had scientists from PG&E try to look at the bulb and figure it out, and nobody knows. Now, it does have a thick carbon filament, and it's not very high wattage, but why it has burned for
well over 100 years.
Yeah, 107 years.
Well, let's go inside.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been wanting to come here for 10 years or more. And really, have you checked it to make sure it's still...
Oh, look, it's out.
No, don't do that to me. Come on. I'm looking.
Keep looking.
It's up.
There it is.
There's
the light bulb.
Is.
The world famous light bulb.
Now, it is low wattage, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It has the same wattage that it did when they originally put it into the firehouse in 1901.
What wattage is that, or did they even have wattage?
It's about 4 watts, 4 to 6 watts.
And that's the original filament?
That's the original filament, original bulb. Yes, it is.
What about the socket?
The socket, to our knowledge, is the original socket.
Wow. And what is this Is that a camera, a security camera up there on it?
That is our webcam. You can actually view that light bulb right off the internet.
Wait a minute. This light bulb has its own webcam.
Yes, if you go to centennialbulb.org, you'll pull up our light bulb, or you can go to the city Livermore website or the Livermore Pleasanton Fire website.
This bulb has a real following, doesn't it?
Oh,
I mean,
it
it's like
has
a whole subculture of people who are really into this.
Well, it has a worldwide following. We had people from all over the world come to see this bulb and to sign our guest book. And it's amazing. It almost has a subculture. In 2001, we had the 100th anniversary birthday for the world-famous light bulb. And we had probably 750 to 1,000 people in here singing happy birthday
to the light bulb.
To the light bulb, yes.
Now, wonder when the firefighters here in Livermore started to realize that this was a long-lasting bulb. Do you think it was after it had been going for 20 years or 30 years? When did this whole thing begin to get legs to it?
Well, I can answer that question. In 1971, a newspaper reporter for the Herald and News by the name of Mike Dunstan saw the bulb and decided that he wanted to do some research on it. And at that time, there was still old-time volunteer firefighters alive who remembered the bulb and who gave him a complete oral history of the bulb.
That was in?
That was in 1971.
Now, here's the real question, though, fellas. I love firefighters. I think you all are the greatest people in the world. Everybody respects and admires firefighters, especially here in California.
Well, thank you.
But fellas, how do we know that sometime back in the 1950s, 1960s, it didn't burn out and somebody just went up on a ladder in the middle of the night and screwed another one in? I hate to even bring that up.
Well,
but we're accepting a lot on faith here, you understand?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things in life that we do have to accept by faith. And this light bulb, the same light bulb, had been burning at the Station 1 downtown since 1906.
Wow. And we know that.
And we know that. That is documented.
Wow. The other question is, and I hate to rain on anybody's parade, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy it's burning. Hopefully it's burning when this program airs. What's going to happen when you come out some morning out that door to get on the fire truck to go out and you look up?
Well, we've rehearsed
and it's not there.
We have rehearsed that many times. Did not see a thing, because the last person who sees that light bulb go out will be a footnote, and no one wants to be the footnote on that.
So what will it just kind of fade away? It'll just...
Well,
that'll be the end of the legend.
In years past, we have had Ripley's Believe It or Not want to buy the bulb, and then if and when it did burn out, wanted to buy the bulb, but the bulb is not for sale. That bulb is Livermore history, Livermore culture, even if it burns out. If it burns out, it'll probably be placed in a case at fire station or at City Hall. It's a significant Livermore artifact.
Place of prominence.
Absolutely.
You think you'll screw in another one?
No.
Or just let it go?
When it goes, it goes. The thing that's interesting is when I was a young firefighter stationed at Station 1 back in the mid-60s, we didn't know about the significance of this light bulb. And that light bulb has been touched by a football skimming by. We used to, when we
were throwing footballs in the...
yeah, and once we found out the significance of the bulb, that stopped. But when we used to go to the fires, you know, firefighters would ride on the back of the engine, like firefighters should. And when we would go out, when I would go out and I was on the left side of the engine, I would just tap the bulb for good luck.
Gosh.
And once we found out, though, how significant it was, that all stopped.
Yeah, I mean, that is a piece of California history, Livermore history, American history,
absolutely.
firefighting history.
Absolutely. What is significant, though, is that when we did find out about the bulb, we didn't enclose it in an enclosure. We didn't put a wire basket around it. It just hung down just like it was. And when we moved it over here, there was great debate whether or not we should put a safety screen around it or a net.
No, it's got to just be hanging.
You know, and that was the decision made. It had to be hanging just like it did, just like it has been hanging
since 1909.
01.
Oh.
No, it was in 1906 is when it was placed in the fire station that you were at this afternoon.
Before that, it had been in even another fire station.
It had been in the original fire station.
3 fire stations well over 100 years.
Absolutely.
Doesn't get any better than this. Fellas, I am not disappointed.
Well, thank you.
I'm telling you, I've been wanting to come here for well over a decade, and now to stand here and see it lit, I feel like I'm part of history, and our viewers are part of history by seeing this thing.
Well, absolutely. Anybody who views this bulb is a part of history, just because this bulb is a part of history.
Wow.
So I did it. I saw the 100-year-old plus light bulb at the firehouse in Livermore, still burning brightly. And I actually went inside the upside-down house in Lee Vining. Both of these things I've been wanting to see for years. And now that I've done it, I feel a certain sense of calm and fulfillment. I saw them both, and they're both fine examples of California's gold. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Huell Howser, and I sure hope you enjoyed this adventure. Both of these places are well worth a visit. And if you'd like to go on this particular adventure again, share it with family or friends, or perhaps donate a copy to your local school or library. It's available on video cassette and on DVD. All you have to do is call 1-800-266-5727, and we'll be glad to send it to you right away.